Hi, Shirish again. This is the continuation of understanding of reincarnation, law of karma, and our bodies, and understanding the universe and see how we can get rid of cycles of birth and death. Certainly, I'm no authority on talking about samadhi or liberation or anything like that. But I certainly know a little bit about understanding the different concepts that are there. So as you remember, we talked about three different bodies: the physical body, the astral body, and the causal body. In Indian scriptures or in Sanskrit, the physical body is called Annamaya Kosh. Kosh is the covering. So as you can imagine, the Anna is food. So the physical body is made out of food. That's why it's called Annamaya Kosh. Certainly it is very gross. That means we can see it. Again, the composition of physical body is also described in the scriptures, consisting of course, bones and blood and flesh and nerve tissues, etc. And each has its own function. Of course, these things go to make 5 organs of action, which are hands and the legs, and the speech is one of the most important, which sometimes people forget, but of course procreation, excretion. So hands, leg, procreation, excretion, and of course speech are the 5 organs of action. Everybody knows the 5 organs of perception. But beyond that, there is also a mind or manomaya kosh. Mana is mind. This is much subtler. You can't see the mind like you can see the physical body. And beyond that is a pranamaya kosh. Prana is the 5 different pranas, which includes and are interpreted in different ways. Prana, Pan, Vyan, Udan, Saman. And these each have a different function in our body. Their locations are described at different parts of the body. And they are extremely subtle compared to the mind. So they could be considered as energy because one of them is assimilation, one of them is circulation, one is absorption, one is excretion, these kind of things. One is of course breath. So these 5 different pranas are subtler than the mind, and the mind is subtler than the physical body. Beyond that is a specific knowledge course or Vijnanamaya Kosh. This is the area where all our knowledge / information that we collect is there. Certainly there is a lot of impressions are also created which are there. And so it could be considered as intellect or it could be considered as knowledge. And the last but the most important is bliss or Anandamaya Kosh. Anand, which is bliss, this is pure bliss. This is not part of physical body, and this is completely related to being one with the Supreme Being. And one has to get to this bliss, but all these koshas or all these coverings or all these bodies attached to each other, like screws attaching certain parts in a desk, or glue making your mica attaching to the mica particle board. These are attached to each other by various things. The strong bond, so-called, are the bond of karma. So as long as the impressions of the karma are there, even when the physical body dies or physical body doesn't exist, the astral and the causal body are still attached so strongly to the bliss kosh that it cannot express itself. As you can imagine, the bliss is only innermost or subtlermost area. Please also note that the whole universe, as you can imagine, is cyclical. So if I would say that I take a day, that means the earth going around itself. If I take a month, the moon going around the earth in circle. The year, especially for we that live on earth, is earth going round in circle, against circling around the sun. So a day, a month, a year, they're all circular, which means they are all cyclical. The sun rises, there is a day, sun goes down because the earth is moving, and that's night, and then again a day comes, and again a night comes. And the month changes depending upon the moon, and then the year changes. The same cycle or circles or rotation also occur at a micro level. So if you take an atom, there's a nucleus, and the protons and electrons are there. And again, they're all circling. Nothing is stationary. So movement or the cycle or cyclical movement is the basis for physical universe. As the astrophysics tells us, the entire universal matter that we can see or can calculate or can predict does not explain more than maybe 1% of the entire universal energy. So that's the reason people have come out with terms like dark matter. What is dark matter? Dark matter is something that they have concluded based on calculation without perceiving the actual matter like we can see the matter on the earth. The dark energy that we calculate by formulas, by various observations that exist, but we can't see it. So since we cannot see it, it is called dark matter. Since we just conclude the amount of energy, but we can't see it, is dark energy. So the physical universe that we can see, feel, touch is actually very small amount. Even when you take an atom, the space between the nucleus to the entire atom or the electron which are circulating is so huge that relatively the nucleus is very small. So as you can see, the physical body is gross, but as you go subtler, the mind, the energy, the intellect, and the least one, the most subtler or the least seen, least experienced is the bliss kosh or the bliss feeling that we can get. So until we disconnect the physical existence, we will never go to the bliss, because the karmic bondage, the impression from previous karma, the attractions, the lust, the desires, the debt, that all is binding all this stuff. Even when I say the mind and the energy and even the information or intellect, they are all part of the physical existence. There is a superb or supreme intelligence. That intelligence does not need a mind to guide or previous experiences to explain or take an action. That is the supreme area which is achieved when you do the concentration or samadhi or meditation. So only way that we can stop this cyclical movement of birth and death is by breaking these bonds, breaking the physical elements of the physical body, the mind, the energy, the intellect, and just go to the bliss. So just to reiterate, reincarnation is absolutely must, does occur as a cyclical variation that occurs in everything in the physical universe. And the release from it is when we break everything and achieve supreme bliss.